Welcome to me. I'm welcoming you to you. And I love you, and I'm recording on Wurundjeri land today. And you know what? Today is Tuesday, and this very Saturday, we are all as a nation voting on a referendum. So I just want to talk really quickly about it because it's the only chance that I have on this pod to say something. I actually got an email about it. Hey, Yvie, I've heard a lot of talk about the voice to Parliament and seen you talk on your socials about it. I'm feeling a bit confused still. I feel like there's so much information out there and so many differing opinions on it. I would love to hear your take on it, as well as any simple info you have about it. Thanks so much, Jess. If you follow me on my socials, you already know that I support The Voice and that I've been posting about it and that I've been sharing as many things as I possibly can. If you're already voting yes, to say wonderful, but if you're not voting yes and you don't know, this is my last ditch attempt to help you understand something that is incredibly simple, important, respectful, something that is incredibly paramount to the First Nations people who were here on this land before any of us got here. These people have been around for 65,000 years, and until recently, they weren't even allowed to vote. They were hunted until 1969, legally. They are incarcerated at a higher rate than any other nationality in this country. And they don't have an advisory board in the government. And that is all they're asking for. They don't want to change rules. They don't want to change laws. They just want to be heard, which is why they call it The Voice, because they want one. They don't have one. And if you think they do, you're wrong. They don't. And this is a sad, sad state of affairs to think that they don't have one. And this drives me insane because I don't want to have to vote to make it so they have one, because I think that that is just about the most white privileged thing that this country can ask of us. But by law, our constitution has to be voted on by a referendum of the people in the country. And we are the people in the country. So what they're asking is for us to allow First Nations and Indigenous people to have an advisory voice. That's it. That's what they want. They want to be able to talk to the government, not be the government. They want to be able to talk to the government, just like all the other advisory boards, like disability, Veterans Affairs, all of the other advisory boards. They want to be one that when things come to them, they get to give the advice. The board that they want will include 2 people from each state. It will be gender diverse, and it will also include their youth. They will be elected by Indigenous communities, not us. So all we have to do is say yes to let them do this, okay? That's all we have to do is say yes. The government doesn't have to take on any of what they say. That's up to the government. But they get to choose, and every 2 years they get to choose 2 more people. No one can have more than 2 terms. So I'm just going to leave it on this. What is The Voice? The Voice would advise Parliament and government on matters affecting Indigenous communities. That's what The Voice is. What it isn't is divisive. It's inclusive. And anyone that tells you any different is fear-mongering you. Every single person that I've seen that's voting yes, I have high respect for. Every single person, and these are just people of note that are voting no, I haven't had much respect for in the past for anything. So take a really good look at who is voting yes and why. This is our opportunity as a nation to move forward together. It is about inclusivity. If they tell you it's about division, it's not. The Indigenous people need a voice because they don't have one. Let's give it to them. The least we can do is say yes, the very least we can do. So be on the right side of history, please. Oh boy, have I got a good one today, okay? Ready for it? In case you didn't understand any of what I just said then, I'm going into Yvie's useful facts. Are they useless? No, they're useful. You guys are going to love this one. There was an abbreviation frenzy amongst the elites of Boston during the 100 years early. Amongst the elite in Boston in the 1830s. I'm talking about the 1830s. Put your big peeps with that. I don't know why I'm doing Scottish when I'm in Boston. Yeah, park your car in a Harvard yard in a bar. That's my Boston accent. Sorry about it. But I'm not sorry. It was dreadful. That's how I do it. The frenzy was comparable to our use of the things like OMG and BRB in text messages. Okay, so you know how you abbreviate. That was the abbreviation frenzy of the 1830s in Boston, baby. They obviously didn't use OMG or BRB because they didn't have text messages. But we know what they mean. OMG means, oh, my God. And BRB means be right back. But back then they did it with a little bit of a twist. The youth would deliberately misspell words and abbreviate them for slang purposes. It was a really cool thing to do. It's what they did amongst themselves. So the parents just had no idea what was going on. Okay, so one example is all correct. They would say to each other all correct. And it basically means everything's fine. So every time they'd say, how are you, or what you doing, or, you know, you going to the Harvard bar, they'd say, all correct. And that became a thing. They actually then, if they wrote it out, they changed the spelling of it to be O-double-L, not A-double-L, and correct with a K. So that really annoyed the adults, but that's how they wrote it to each other. Eventually, it was abbreviated. What was it abbreviated to, Rach? Your face is saying it all. Okay. That's where okay comes from. All correct. All correct. Because, you know, Boston, all correct. And it actually first made it into print in 1839. And a lot were made up around that time, very similar things. But this is the only one that is still around to this day. So there you go. Okay? You okay? Okay is the most used word in the world. And I loved that when I was backpacking in 1994, no matter what country I was in, I could say okay. It meant yes, obviously. No matter where I was, I didn't have to know yes in their language. I would say, okay. Do you know what the second most known word in the world is? Coca-Cola is number 2 in the world. Most known words. There's 2 things for you to take to your next dinner party or have dinner tonight with the kids and say to them, I'm going to tell you a little story. A little story about Yvie Jones and how good looking she is. Oh, no. About the origins of things. I love you all. I'll talk to you soon. Don't forget to listen this Thursday. We've got a wonderful, wonderful guest who is going to blow your mind the way she blew mine. Her name's Victoria Devine. Best name in the world. Don't forget to listen. Bye.